Hey, welcome to the Tim and Gugabe podcast. This is your host, Tim. Gugabe, how are you doing other than slamming the keyboard right when we start?
Yeah, life's good. Ticking along. Business as usual. Feels like it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I've been real busy. You've been busy with the baby. I've been really busy with like life and work and everything. But so it's been hard to like for you and I to get on the same schedule. But we'll get back to it. We'll get in a good cadence. It like some of the ones going forward, if you're just not available, I might just go solo. But whenever you can join, you know. Because I feel bad when I schedule it for like a time and then we're like 2 hours late and everyone's mad, you know. But we'll get back to it. But anyway, how have you been doing lately from like a betting perspective? I haven't talked to you for a while.
Yeah, a few decent cards. Trying to think what's happened lately. Yeah, pretty good. Had Diaz yesterday. Didn't really agree with the decision, to be honest. But
I think
Diaz plus 200. I think plus 200 was wide, but like I did feel Masvidal did edge it personally. Like when I heard 98-92, it was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
It was a weird fight. Masvidal would kind of go for 30 seconds, then would take like a minute off to recover. Then he'd he closed. He closed more rounds well than he did. I scored it for Masvidal, but it was very tight. Like the whole thing was like Diaz probably won like 70% of the minutes because he was just working the entire time, while Masvidal would just like burst for 30 seconds, then would take like a minute off to recharge his stamina bar, then like would go again, and like it was a fun fight. But it was quite disjointed.
Yeah,
happened lately. Pereira, that card was decent. Bit annoying with Dardige. I was surprised how good Lopez looked.
Yeah, I was really hot for a while, and then I lost like 4 straight 1% plays. You know, I was on like a 9-fight streak. I lost 4 straight 1% plays, but then I had Volkov as a dog, and that got a lot of it back. And then I had you're gonna make fun of me, but he closed at minus 2,000. I had Talbot parlayed at like minus 300 like early. I knew he was gonna get steamed, and so that closed out, and so I kind of got my 4% like losses that I had all back. So I basically have been even for the last few events. So, which is good because I was really hot. So I kind of like got back to parity, but there's a few spots I like coming up too, but let's talk about it. Namajunas and Cortez main event. Rose is minus 225. Come back on Cortez is plus 190. You have any strong opinions here?
I mean, I kind of preferred the Rebus spot, but I think Cortez kind of has to be the side. Rose not great off her back at all. And I just feel like Rose's style is just very 50-50. Like she doesn't, unless she's finishing people, she never really wins that firmly. Because like she doesn't do much at women's, and like she has power, but it is women's, and it's not like she's got some like Amanda Nunes like insane fight-defining power. Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, I think Cortez will pass. Probably like again, I took it a little bit like close to the plus 200. Current prices don't interest me as much. Yeah, I just feel like Rose's bottom game is such an issue. Like even against Rebus, it just felt like she got top time, but like 1 or 2 scrambles go slightly. Like the one time Rebus got on top and consolidated, like Rose almost quit. Like she looked like she was dying. So it feels like one of these things where it's like if Rebus had just gotten on top of one of those head and arm throws like earlier, I feel like that fight could have played out like insanely far in Rebus's favor. Where people were just like, because Rose is a confidence fighter, and like if Rebus ends up on top after round 1, I just think Rose just melts. Cortez kind of whatever. I just can't see the Rose upside. Like she doesn't do much. She doesn't. There's just not much to like there. Like she's very good at creating close fights, but.
Yeah.
What's the enthusiastic Rose take apart from Cortez as a bum?
I'm picking Rose to win because I do think like stylistically she can avoid some takedowns, and then like I favor her on the feet.
Yeah,
but I just favor her. It's like the issue with her is like Carlos Esparza won a striking fight against her, so she keeps striking fights close. So just by default, Cortez could have some close striking rounds, and then if Cortez just happens to get on top, I do tend to think Rose's defensive wrestling has gotten a little better. in recent years, and her offensive wrestling. But
I think it has. But if you get on top of her, there's still like I just think Rosa's instincts when she's actually on bottom are awful. Like she's getting better at not getting taken down. She's a lot more defensively sound with the footwork. But if Cortez actually gets on top, I think that's around.
Maybe. But no, like I see the argument. I think it's dogger pass simply because like Rosa's ceiling is, it's just like she keeps fights too close. Like, you know what I mean? Like she can just have too many 50-50 fights. I do think she should win this fight. Like I do pick her to win. I think she's a little better as a striker, but Cortez isn't like a bad boxer. She has like decent hands at times. She seems tough, and I'm guessing it's going to be like some stretches of minutes where it's kind of like not much separation on the feet, and then Rose will maybe land some of the more like eye-catching shots, and then maybe a takedown here lands for like one of the two, and that's really it. I don't expect it to be like, I expect it to be like somewhat competitive, but not too interested in it. Santiago Ponzinibbio and Muslim Salikov. Ponzinibbio minus 210 now. Another fight where I'm probably going to pick Ponzinibbio to win, but it's probably another dogger pass fight. It's just like I don't really trust either guy's chin or durability at this point. It's probably going to be a competitive striking fight. I like Ponzinibbio a little more because of his overall volume, but Salikov's like pretty good defensively at times and can like control range. And so I don't know. It's like who's going to hurt who first, right? Like, and that will probably decide the fight. I feel like it could be either guy. So I'm not too enthusiastic Ponzinibbio minus 210 here, but like again, it's kind of like the main event. Like I'm probably gonna pick him to win. It's probably like another dogger pass, but I'm not like enthusiastic about the dog either. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. Like Salikov, a bunch of these I took like earlier in the week when like they went out to like plus 190 or a bunch of these came out quite a bit like mid last week, and I took them down. Salikov, I think Salikov's more functional despite this being an old man fight. I think Salikov's style is just like better as an old man style. He controls the tempo. He's very good at like keeping it where he wants it to be, kind of thing. Like I feel like for Ponzinibbio to win this, he's going to have to like rally. It's going to be like Salikov wins round one firmly, then Ponzinibbio wins off like output or something. And it's like, do you really trust a 37-year-old man at minus 200 to do that? Like, for me, if I'm betting a minus 200, my attitude is not the minus 200 is going to rally through hell to pick up late rounds. Like that should just not be how he bet minus 200s, like in my opinion. I think live Ponzinibbio could be a good spot. Like Salikov doesn't like working, and you probably get a good view of what's happening. Like it wouldn't shock me if Ponzinibbio was evens or an underdog after round one here. Like all the Ponzinibbio upside has to be off pace. Like I can't really see what else Ponzinibbio actually does to make him a favorite here. I think if Salikov can keep it at his pace, he could kind of own him. Like Ponzinibbio Morono was kind of kicking the shit out of him, but he just like had this miracle comeback where I think Salikov has lost to. Salikov was winning minutes against Brown and got bonked. It's like, all right, whatever, and got paced by Dalby. And like Dalby obviously is a very limited fighter, but like, I'm pretty sure Dalby fucks him just as well.
I've always been a little higher on Dalby than the market, which has helped me lately because I played him against Bonfim. We're talking about in our next fight, but like I don't know. I don't really have strong opinions of Ponzinibbio Salikov. Like I'm picking Ponzinibbio, but I can't. It's dogger pass, like from a betting perspective. Gabriel Bonfim and Loosa. What do you think here?
I mean, can a man who melted like that really be minus 400? Like Loosa is nothing spectacular, but like he's stupid physical. I think Black Zillion's usually pretty good at. People haven't just grappled at Muser all the time. And Bonf is he could just my thing of Bonf. If he fights normally, he could just have 6 minutes of passion and he's just gone. Yeah. And also it's like there's always the risk with these guys, like they gas out once and then for the rest of their career they just lose that aggression button because you get PTSD from losing a fight like that. Like it sucks gassing in the cage. Like even for me in jiu-jitsu, I don't go particularly hard early because I know if I gas out, it sucks and I'm not being punched. Yeah. Whilst it's hard to explain how shit it is to cardio death, like in the cage. So I think there's always a chance of these performances where like Bonfim just overcorrects and he just turns his slider away from, I have 50% chance beating anybody because I'm a grappling meme versus I take things too slowly. I have 7 minutes of cardio instead of 5, but I completely killed my actual thing that wins me fights. Like, this does happen quite often. So I think Loosa has to be the side.
Yeah, another one where it's probably dog or pass. I'm not particularly confident in any of these underdogs in the first 3 fights, but like I liked Dalby against Bonfim because I was like, I'm very like Dalby will put a pace on you and he's very durable. And I was just like, let's see what happens. Angelusa, I don't think is as good of a resistor as Dalby, but I do like he's not like terrible. Like so, yeah, like
he seems super durable. Like he survived on what's his name, Fletcher. Yeah. I don't think Fletcher is a dissimilar fight to this.
Anyway, it's
like Fletcher Bonfim is very competitive, in my opinion.
It could be a live betting spot too. Like his Bonfim, I think a lot of his win conditions predicated on like an early finish or just dominating early, for a while. So that's another one. But yeah, like I just like seeing what happened with Dalby and Bonfim. Like Bonfim, I do expect to be winning this fight early for sure. But like, yeah. But the worry about live betting is it can turn so quick. Like it can lock, like off a takedown that like can lock and all this stuff. So, I
feel like market's a lot smarter with these gas outs than it used to be. Like you used to get like 30 seconds of pivot. On these days, it just feels like pick a guy Bonfim. He starts going, he's gone.
Yeah, really interesting few fights I want to talk about coming up. Dober and Silva. I'm quite confident. Like Gene Silva, I didn't play the fight because I wanted to see more of Silva, but I picked Jordan against him because I kind of thought Silva was a bit of a fraud. Good performance, like in a striking fight. Like, yeah, obviously he's dangerous. Like he can win those fights, so he could hurt Dober. Like I could see that happening. Yeah. But I'm very confident he's a defensive grappling liability, and in the future, I'm hoping he beats Dober because I think we can take advantage of that. Because I'm quite confident. Even Jordan got him down at the end of round 1, and I'd be like, Jordan can't even really wrestle. And there were some fights in the regionals he looked awful. Like there are some grapplers who will absolutely maul him. Dober, people might forget, can wrestle offensively a little bit. It's just he's fought so many like good fighters who like he can't do it to. I do think that's a win condition here. I really do. Like, I think if Dober landed like takedowns and started like doing stuff in top position, I think that's possible. And then on the feet, it's like Dober's still pretty good and really experienced, and like I know he's been hurt lately, but he's historically been pretty durable. Like, obviously he could get bonked here, but Dober, I don't know. Like I'm going to pick Dober. I'm going to go Dober here because I feel like he has more paths to victory. I really do think like offensive. I'm not counting on the offensive wrestling, but even if it's like a 10% outcome in a close fight, that's another win condition. Then on the feet, I just think it's going to be like a war, Like Dober's still very good. Like he can get hurt and stuff, but he's still generally durable. And Silva, like, I don't know, he landed some like big inside shots on Jordan. It wasn't like he was like some masterful distance striker. But like it was a good performance, but I'm gonna go with like the more experienced fighter here. I am pretty like from like a betting perspective, I'm kind of nervous, but like I'm just not comfortable playing a minus number on a guy in Gene Silva who's really only beat Jordan. He's now going up in weight class and going against a guy who's way more experienced with a potential like takedown path to victory. He hasn't done it for a while. He did it like years ago, but he hasn't fought really anyone he could do it to. So I don't know. I could see it turning into like a Kopylov thing, like that last fight. We haven't seen him do it for a little bit, but I do think it's possible here, like Kopylov versus that kickboxer. But overall, what do you think here? Like, it's interesting.
I have to say, Kopylov fishing the grappling out of his ass was very funny. Like
it was, yeah.
He looked like the first round was what I expected in that fight. Then like Kopylov was exhausted and then just hits like the world's shittiest lame bro. And it was like to me it makes no sense because like I would take Budka against Kopylov in a wrestling match like all day. Wouldn't you?
I'd have
Budka is a
to, I
single
haven't
issue.
watched Budka for a while. I'd have to watch it.
But
You know?
he's like a single issue fighter versus like a kickboxer. Like Kopylov has never shown any interest. And then like this exhausted Kopylov just gets like, I don't know. It was funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Dober has to be like minus 150, minus 200 here because like he's a lot more proven at essentially the same fight. I feel like
I'm still
it is
nervous.
possible he just dies.
I'm still pretty nervous. Yeah.
It is possible he just dies. Like I'm not denying it.
Yeah.
But
he's still the bigger guy, and like he's still bigger, and like he's got,
like,
and that can happen. That can also help not only in the striking but in the wrestling as well. And like I really do think it's possible because Dober only lands. He doesn't even land like a takedown per 15, but he attempts like 5, and he's just not taking down some of these guys because they're good. You know, like Jordan landed 2 takedowns in like a minute and a half. Dober could do that. But like, I still think they'll probably just go to war because Dober will probably he's like a entertainment fighter now, you know. So I do think he'll probably go to war. So it might not matter. But even in a war, Dober's still pretty good, you know.
I think Jordan's also like kind of mentally fucked. Like this is like the last 2 Jordan fights. Like I had Woodson against him and I had like Silva KO, and like I was just watching. I was like, what the fuck? Jordan just looks competent. Like. Yeah, he had all the success just being a pure aggression. Like, he just put pace up and just sort of hope the best thing would happen. Like, I think Jordan overperformed in his UFC career by quite a bit, just because he was just off pure aggression and not fucking off. Yeah, but it feels like the last 2 fights, he's just not had. He's just not going. Like he's become a wrestler, which is insane for everybody French, for everybody Canadian bantamweight. Like he's and even then, like he outlanded Silva on the feet.
Yeah, it's just, but it was weird because he kind of landed some stuff on the inside, like an uppercut and stuff like that. And it was just kind of, you know, I still think Silva is a dangerous guy for sure, but I'm not totally sold on him yet. And I'm still very confident a grappler is going to destroy him, you know?
Yeah. I agree. Like Silva has all the components for what these guys just picks up this insane hype train off a bunch of random KO1s. Like this does happen. Like this is a good thing about UFC. There's always going to be another one of these guys. Like he seems like a lovely guy too. So I'm
hoping Silva knocks him out, and then we get like some grappler at like plus 150 against him or something. You know.
I just think Dober is sufficiently sort of old and cooling down a bit that I feel like he's got a kind of. There is a risk here. Like Prime Dober would be like a no-brainer max bet at this price. At this point, I'd be like, I think you got to put it on Dober or something at this price. Like, I just think you just kind of have to. Like
when Dober wasn't getting hurt all the time, like I would have surely bet him at this price. But now it's like he might get hurt. You know?
If he gets the plus money, I've got to put something. Again, I'm not super enthusiastic, but I'm just like Dober's been a lot more proven, a lot better cardio.
Yeah. And I still think he has sneaky wrestling upside. I'm not going to guarantee it, but I kind of think he could land a few takedowns here. I really do. He hasn't done it since like John Tuck, so I know like people are probably laughing, but like it's just like the Kopylov thing where like he hasn't fought anyone he could do it to forever, and now he has a shot. And it's like Angela Hill versus who was it? She had an over/under half takedown against who was that girl?
Gomez?
Yeah, he got 5. I took the over on that. I tweeted it out. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like Angela Hill's just fought a bunch of like grapplers lately who she can't take down, you know? But okay. Christian Rodriguez and Julian Arosa. This is another interesting fight because like Rodriguez has just been neutralizing guys trying to grapple him. That's all he's been doing. I think he's a good fighter because defensively, like he seems very, very tough. He's very hard to grapple. And then on the feet, it's not like he's got good cardio. Like it's hard to get offense going on him, and that's good. But he's just been like pouring it on guys who gas out from trying to grapple him. Where now Julian Arosa will try to strike, will try to wrestle, and he's not going to tire out. Like Julian Arosa, he has 0 chin. Like a gust of wind can knock him out at this point, but he has good cardio.
It's relevant.
He has good cardio. So like if this goes 15 minutes, I think it could get interesting. But I do think the durability edge is pretty massive here for Rodriguez because Arosa just gets hurt so often. So that's why I ended up picking Christian Rodriguez to win, just because I think he has a durability edge. But like this is a big test for Rodriguez. Like this is a very different fight. He's been fighting a bunch of guys who gas out and are trying to grapple him, and now he's not. So I think it's interesting to see how he's gonna actually have to like win by putting up offense in a way we haven't really seen him do. But what do you think here?
Yeah, like Arosa's main issue is his chin. So we're probably not going to hit that. But again, like then you look at like Arosa. Remember Arosa versus Steven Peterson? No, I was thinking Steven Peterson.
He looked bad.
That was not good.
I was kind of like maybe thinking about being like, oh, underdog chance here. And then I like watched that fight and I'm like, I'm going to go with Rodriguez. Because even if it goes 15 minutes, like Rodriguez might just beat him up, you know? That was a bad. But he looked good against Dawodu, like a fight later. But it was a lot of like body triangling stuff, you know?
Yeah, but then Dawodu then just like managed to lose a fucking decision to Cub Swanson as well. So it's just like, I think Dawodu's an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, Dawodu if he like got out of his own ass, could be a top 10 heavyweight. He just refuses to. Like he just doesn't work hard.
He blew up to like a really close fight.
Yeah, like when he's flowing, he's good. He just doesn't pull the trigger. He just has issues. The Steven Peterson fight to me just sort of just goes, all right, I think Christian Rodriguez could just like that was a robbery, and like you shouldn't be doing that with Steven Peterson. Like I like Steven Peterson, but do not have that fight with that was not a good look.
It was a really bad look, and Arosa was a big favorite in that, and it was like Peterson almost won the fight.
And also, it's just like Arosa hasn't actually gone over a round since. So like Arosa's cardio historically good. I mean, I suppose Dawodu he did, but then Dawodu was like kind of weird. It was just like he got a back take and he stayed in the body triangle, but he lost standing for a bit, but he got another back take. Then he lost standing for a bit, but he got another back take. It was just like Aljamain Sterling kind of shit, where it's just like once you're on the back, it's hard to get somebody off kind of a situation.
Yeah.
And then he's had he hasn't been over 3 minutes in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So, is his cardio still... Yeah, I assume Rose's cardio is still solid, but you never know.
Yeah.
I do feel like maybe see your live or something might be better because I think Arosa is very competitive early going and like, Arosa's down to a plus 180. Yeah, I had no interest there. I thought he was still like plus 220.
Yeah.
C-Rod via very, very competitive minus CV 29-28, most likely.
Yeah. He does have that all. I do think he is all. The thing is, even though I'm saying he's more durable, he hasn't knocked anyone out in the UFC, but like anyone could knock Arosa out at this point, you know?
But Arosa has Cerrone chin. Like he just has that sort of 2 minutes where he's very vulnerable. Yeah. Once he's comfortable, he's fine.
Junior Dos Santos had that for a while too. He would get knocked out, or he would go 5 rounds, like no problem.
I'm just getting annihilated. Yeah, and he'd be fine.
Yeah. All right. Last fight I want to talk about, and then I got to go a little early, but the new fight, Jasmine, Jasudavicius, and Fatima Klein. I'm going to start off by saying Fatima Klein. It's very rare I'm watching like debutante tape and I'm ever impressed, you know? And like, she's probably one of the better female prospects I've seen in a very long time. So I will just say that she comes from a grappling background, good submission grappler, and her striking looks strong too. The issue is she's probably undersized here she is undersized here, and she's fought poor competition, but my eyes tell me she can like she's UFC level. Like I think you can watch her and be like, yeah, she's UFC level. So, but her quality of competition, it's like how I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure her offensive grappling is a path to victory at this level, and her offensive striking is her cardio looks strong. Like there's very few holes, but the one thing Jasmine can do is like wrestle, and she's big, you know, and it's like, and Fatima Klein, like I saw a couple exchanges of defensive grappling that I liked, but it wasn't enough for me to, but like Jasmine was taking down some pretty good fighters, like, well, you know, and like Jasmine's a good wrestler, and I don't think Klein's going to be able to hold Jasmine down. Like Jasmine's defensive wrestling looks good to me. So I think it's going to be a thing. Either Jasmine's going to out-wrestle her or Klein's going to sprawl and brawl. And I think I would favor Klein on the feet because Jasmine's just a little too hittable. But Jasmine does put a pace on. It's just Klein doesn't gas. But I ended up picking Klein, which I didn't think. But I've gone back and forth. I ended up picking her just because I think she's a more talented fighter for sure. That doesn't mean she's going to win this fight because I'm not confident she wins this fight, but I do think she's definitely like more well-rounded than Jasmine, has a way better future, like going forward. Like I think she could actually be like a top 5 girl, where Jasmine is just going to thrive when she can land takedowns and put a pace on you, where like Klein could be like really good. And I ended up picking her because I just think she's better, but like I just can't. I don't know for sure if Jasmine's wrestling is going to work here or not, and that's going to be the answer to the fight. If it doesn't work, I think she's going to lose because I think Klein will beat her up on the feet. But like, I just haven't seen Klein. Like I watched some of her submission grappling. You can't really get enough by that. People are like on their knees pulling guard. You can't like she's not. No one's trying to like wrestle for position as much. And then in their MMA fights, I saw her taken down. She scrambled up real well, but. I'm very back and forth here. Like Jasmine was minus 250 and now it's like even, and I'm struggling. What do you think?
I mean, Pat McCline seems like a solid prospect. Jasu's style is just kind of a cheat code in women's MMA because, like, in men's, in men's you stop that by knocking them out, but women's MMA was like 4 people in the history of the sport who can consistently knock anybody out. Yeah. So like you could just like. This is the classic thing where like somebody just does this to like 10 women in the row and they fight Amanda Nunes and Amanda Nunes just instantly kills them. And it's just like, oh, that happened again. Yeah. Like, I mean, when you say that like Klein could be a future top 5 flyweight, I honestly think Jasu could become a top 5 flyweight. Like, look at the division. Like, there are fights in there she could actually get. Like, Fioro obviously would be very hard.
She's going to beat a lot of people. There's a couple people who have good defensive wrestling, like Natalia Silva, good lateral movement, really hard.
It's like 3 of them. Like,
yeah, really hard to take and hold down, but there's not many girls like Natalia Silva who can do that all the time. The Cortez fight was close, and Cortez is like pretty good.
Yeah, just looking at the division, like, yeah, of the sort of top whatever women, like probably Fioro, Shevchenko, and Silva, the only 3 I'd really take firmly over Jasudavicius.
This is a good fight. I really was impressed with Klein's tape, but I'm also like, I also think Jasmine's better than most people think. You know, so I'm kind of like,
yeah. Well, again, it's not particularly pretty or elegant, but she can beat a lot of people.
It's going to come down to can Jasmine wrestle her, and like.
I
don't really know. I really don't know. Like we haven't seen Klein go against this before. Like how could anyone know?
I feel like you have to be dog or pass here. Just I feel like Jasu's had an actual camp. Jasu, Klein's coming in off no notice. Klein's coming up a weight class. Like Jasudavicius is more proven against Bear. Like I can see the argument that Klein's upside is higher. I'm not saying that Klein's going to have a worse career than Jasudavicius, but I just think like. I think this is a competitive fight, but Jasu has a bunch of sort of factors in her favor.
The thing is, I kind of don't think it's going to be a competitive fight. I either think Klein's going to just like stop downs and beat her up, or I think Jasmine's just going to run her over. And like, and
yeah, I get that, but
I kind of don't think it's going to be back and forth. Like maybe it is, but I kind of think it's going to be like a Klein 30-27, like sprawl and brawl, or like a Jasmine 30-27. Wrestling. I kind of don't think it's going to be competitive.
I mean, I could say Klein having a good round 1, then just sort of slowing down a bit. And
she has good cardio though, but Jasmine pushes a crazy pace. Like remember when she just gas pedaled Maverick and just ran her over?
That was a weird fight to me because I felt like I don't know. If Maverick didn't like kind of allow her into certain, like it just felt like Maverick just kind of got greedy in the grappling a few times. Then Jasu kind of got it like. The thing was just like I was actually looking at taking Araujo over Jasudavicius because I just felt like like Jasu would eventually get rolling, but I felt like people were assuming that Araujo would just instantly fold. Yeah, and I was like, that was going to be a very hard first round. Like Araujo is one of the few people with the athleticism and dynamicism to actually punish early. Araujo beat Modafferi easily, beat DLR easily. Like Araujo is not like getting the first takedown on Araujo is not easy.
Yeah,
but like I digress. Like I think Araujo had a lot. Araujo didn't have cardio, but like Araujo had a lot more skills to actually hurt like Jasudavicius early. And I think it's got to be Jasu or pass. And like I just feel like that's it. Like Klein looks solid, but
yeah. I think it just depends. It depends on the price you get. If you got either girl at big dog money, I like it. Now that it's like almost even, I kind of like, I'm pretty torn. I really don't know.
Do you have any takes on Fremd versus Petrosky?
No, not yet. I haven't taped, but I kind of like was surprised. Like I thought Petrosky would be favored just because of like his like I feel like it's a pretty big correction generally for his prices. I haven't looked in the matchup though. I gotta go in like 30 seconds, so sorry.
He was early, but again, like Fremd took a grappling round over Hernandez.
Yeah.
And like Petrosky is like we all know how Petrosky is mentally. Just the second he has any adversity, I am gone. I quit.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Anyway, it's got to run. Go run.
Yeah, I got to run.
Thanks, listening. Should be more consistent, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll be more consistent going forward. Thanks for everyone for tuning in, but I'm glad we got to do this, and I'm glad the UFC's back. Gugabe, we'll talk about Lemos Jandaroba next week. So,
Woo.
Cool.
Gotcha.
Yeah.